Remember, this entire manga and every manga on this channel is hand-drawn by myself, and now you too can learn exactly how to make your own viral Dragon Ball mangas at www.makemanga.com, where you can learn directly from me. My mangas have got me on TV, on newspapers, and even earned me over $60,000 a month on Patreon alone. And now, you can click the link in the description and pinned comment of this video and do it yourself. You only need to see the website to see just how many thousands of you are taking this opportunity right now. And don't forget also, the next video to this Ultra Vegito series has already been made and is live now on my Patreon right now for over 4,500 of you incredible fans to watch after this. Again, links are in the pinned comment and description. Enjoy. So our story continues with true demon Vegito looking on angrily at Goku, his eyes blood red after declaring he will no longer hold back, and pink goo slathering out of his shoulder, reformulating his arm after Goku had blasted off last chapter. While Goku, with a pleased with himself smirk, though standing damaged and worse for wear himself after being caught in his own explosion, Seraphim Goku would notice. Red eyes? That's new, Vegito. For a minute, I thought you unlocked something like mine. But they aren't the same. What's the deal? To which the God Killer, now gripping his fist tight, would stare into it and reflect. Who knows, Kakarot? Every day my power grows, and so too does my descent into this darkness. All I know is that once I'm in this state, my power is truly free. A level above my true demon state. A state that probably inches me closer to that damn Lucid within. As behind him, an image of the great demon once saw in his mind is flashed back to. Before quickly snapping out of the reminiscing to point fiercely at Goku, angrily saying, "But that's precisely why you're supposed to stop that! This whole mission we're on could be for nothing if I'm taken over. You've heard it already. If what they say is true, the minute I let this demon take over, Zeno and the priest may be defeated, but we will no longer be who we were. And that means Chi-Chi, Gohan, Goten and the rest of them will never come back. And by the looks of it, so far, you have not lived up to the hype. You are still far below me in this form." Before staring deeply with his demonic red eyes, as he would add, "Isn't that right, Son Goku?" To which a staring equally coldly back Goku would just respond, "We'll see about that, Vegito. I haven't even begun to show you what I can do." "Then get on with it and show me, clown!" As instantly, the two supremely powered Saiyans would then rush straight at each other. One with intense rage, and the other in a truly calm and serene state. But once the two meet, slamming a palm onto each other's shoulder, the difference in mannerisms would completely change, as their Saiyan instinct would take over. As Vegito would say, "Come on, using my moves now, be original!" While Goku grimacing replies, "Be original? You're the one using my moves! I am you, Vegito!" As quickly as the intense standoff reaches a climax, the two would be sent spinning, detaching one another from each other. As quickly, the two undeterred would then land on the ground with thuds, continuing their deadlock stare, however. But it would be the God Killer who is first to fully recover, shooting forward at Goku instantly. As Vegito would launch foot first right at the still downed Kakarot. But Goku, in this new divine state, would just narrowly be able to avoid. I told you, Vegito! As with his teeth gritted, Goku in counter would pull his flexed up arm backhand. I haven't shown you anything yet! As with a humongous slam, Goku's fist would smash straight onto the cheek of the off-balance God Killer, concaving his face inwards instantly. And as Vegito's body would sway backwards in front of Goku, at first it would seem as though he would be shocked at being overpowered and countered so quickly. But that would be until Vegito, with a smug giggle, would look down despite his bruised cheek and say with pride, "Finally! You've started to show me why you used to be the main character, Goku!" This comment, however, causing Goku to grumble with a stoic look as he responds, "This isn't a game, Vegito! I'll beat that evil out of you!" As with conviction to surpass any kind of demonic powers that Vegeta would need to rely on in the final battle, Goku, now with anger of his own, would rush to attack Vegeta once more with his fist. But the God Killer would vanish straight through the punch. I bet that demon is laughing right now, Kakarot! Reappearing right behind him before... Try harder! Launching a football field-like kick that lands straight onto the backside of the Saiyan from Earth, sending him far into the endless distance of the Pyramid of Power. Seems the longer I stay in this form, the more I'm drip-fed power. I'm getting stronger as we speak. As quickly, reaching up to Goku in super speed, from his backside again, the God Killer would slam his elbow deep into the spine of Kakarot, causing the Saiyan to scream out in agony. His consciousness even being lost temporarily, as his bright blue pupils disappear for a moment and blood shoots out from his open mouth, sending him careering down for a violent crash down below on the plain ground. But as Goku would reach his demise on the floor, it wouldn't stop the God Killer from laughing above, already powering up a follow-up as creating a mysteriously familiar ball of energy at the tip of his finger, he would yell, "You've gotten too used to Frieza's fighting style to remember mine, haven't you? Fine, maybe this will jog your memory. Ultra Death Ball!" As launching his hand downward, Vegito would throw his own version of Frieza's signature attack. And own version it would definitely be, as while it flies down with insane power, it would seemingly take on a life of its own, garnering its own demonic face and two horns as it rushes to annihilate Son Goku, who kneels before it on the floor. What is that? Leaving even Seraphim Goku perplexed with one eye open as he is shocked by the sheer power reaching towards him. Alas though, the shock would mean nothing, as in a ferocious detonation, Vegito's Ultra Death Ball would explode on impact to a far-reaching, high-rising, impressively fiery explosion. And in the aftermath, the impact would be so great, even the mysterious white ground of the chamber would be left with a gigantic crater. In its center, a smoking, charred figure. But up above, unimpressed even after having dispatched of Goku, Vegito, looking down with his arms folded, would comment, "Pathetic, Kakarot! For all that talk of having more to show, all I see is more weakness! Is this truly all you can do? Seems training from those weak angels could only take you so far." But as the God Killer would insult from above, a truly exhausted and perhaps even beaten back down to base Goku would huff and puff in the pain, tiring from surviving the last attack. Damn it! But as he shows his frustration finally at Vegito's words and his own inferiority, Goku's eyes would reopen again to show his Seraphim form, with his arm penetrating the ground itself, smashing down, creating a rippling of destruction all around. But shockingly, as he would do so, something strange would begin to happen to Goku, as his hair would suddenly rise into the air and flash a bright cyan blue to match his eyes. The moment would be so brief though, it would almost seem like it was an illusion, as his hair in the next second would return back to black and his base look. But all the while, Goku would continue to grit his teeth and growl as his power would continue to forcefully grow, with him itching to push every little inch of strength out of himself to keep up with Vegito. But it would seem even in that brief moment, the sudden change in appearance would not go unnoticed by the God Killer, who looking on with a curious eye would think, "Now what was that I just saw? That wasn't normal. Clearly, there's still a level for me to push this kid to." That's it, Vegito! As seemingly done with his power-up now, Goku would stare at the God Killer with frustration building, yelling, "I'll prove to you, we can do this another way!" Blasting off from the spot, pinpointed at Vegito in the sky. And immediately, things would take another turn for the equal, as instantly the two would collide forearms, reaching a standstill. Kakarot! Vegito! And shouting out each other's names as their colored eyes lock onto one another, a truly blinding light of energy then be seen from their collision, as their ridiculous powers rise to untold levels. And with time moving so fast in the Pyramid of Power, it wouldn't be long before an entire 5 years of battle would pass, with a lone standing weakened and beaten Goku left on the battlefield with his back turned to us. Unknown whether still in his seraphim state or now finally finished. But once we get a closer look, the truth is more clear. As a truly drained of all his energy Goku would be seen barely able to keep his eyes open. Now back to black, and for sure back in base, as he can no longer even say a word before falling suddenly straight forward, as if having nothing left in his legs anymore to even keep him standing. And laying there, face first, Goku would seemingly now appear completely beaten and done for. What progress he's made in the last 5 years, however, is still yet to be determined, nor where even his opponent is. But eventually, a short distance away, a all too familiar pair of feet, complete with a freezer-like tail, would begin to land on the ground. And showing himself grumbling and damaged himself, true Demon Vegito would appear, still in his full form with blood-red eyes, but holding onto his shoulder with a scowl as he says, "My God, Kakarot! What a battle you put on! That seraphim form of yours is just beyond the training of mere angels! Whether I've let loose most of my fusions or not, you pushed me to almost my very limits! That is not something to scoff at." Before quickly, then turning his back and beginning to crack his neck with his hand nonchalantly. He would just look behind at Goku's body and then add, "But in the end, Son Goku, it seems just like all gods, angel or not, you fall short of ever dreaming of defeating me. Whatever this demon's power is, it is the only thing, it seems, that will allow me to get my revenge. I guess there truly is no choice in the end, and I will deal with the consequences alone when they come." Wait a second! But just as Vegito would begin to disregard Goku, something odd would be sensed by the God Killer from behind. What on earth? This feeling, is that? As when Vegito would turn his head around, a bright light would begin to illuminate absolutely everything around him, as his mouth would slowly simultaneously open in shock before... Oh! What is going on? As unbelievably, with an opening from the heavens themselves, a portal of light would open within the Pyramid of Power and shine down a truly divine light of energy onto the battlefield. Its target not at first clear before... Kakarot! Soon concaving its appearance to now a powerful cylinder of light on the ground, all surrounding one central figure in particular, as waves of smoke and debris blow out in all directions in circular bellows. And in a shocking sight, once we look deeper into the light, as if being summoned and revived by the gods above, Goku's lifeless unconscious body is seen dragged upwards into the sky. Could the angels be calling on one of their own to otherworld? It would seem almost like that. As one zoomed in on Goku's face, his eyes would remain closed, his body not moving at all, as it reaches higher and higher into the sky. Until in a blink of an eye, Goku's body, as if moving on its own instinct, would flip back into an upright position. And with his next move would then open his eyes quickly to reveal his Seraphim eyes activated once more. But curiously, his black hair would now be standing up until... With a vicious roar, unlike any heard from Goku before, Goku's hair would turn a bright cyan blue to match his eyes, as unbelievably, a white angel wing bursts forth from his right shoulder, as our hero finally ascends to a level above just Seraphim. Now, most likely, even past Z. Unknowingly, in the huge expanse of the pyramid, another Saiyan warrior would be roaring also, and undergoing a series-altering transformation of his own. As astonishingly, Vegeta too would transform, but in his own unique way, as a dark purple scar runs down one side of his face, similar to Vegeto's, but out of his left shoulder, a dark demon wing would emerge to match Goku's, and it would seem the prince's transformation would just be beginning. Vegeta! And standing to witness all of this would be Broly himself, in his own final legendary angel form, blue eyes similar to Goku's, but with a look of true confusion as he wonders, how does he keep doing this? Over and over, he finds a way to keep pushing himself further. What drives him like this? Before looking down with a look of fear and concern as he realizes, but that's the least of my worries. Whatever this new form is, it's getting closer and closer to him. Lucif's power is finding a way through Vegeta just as easily as it did for Vegito. No, maybe it was Vegeta all along. As in a demonic scream to the depths of hell, Vegeta continues his complete change, just as promised. And as his almost rocket-like aura begins to surround his entire body, shooting upwards, a number of strange, Hakaishin-like symbols in purple begin to appear on his torso. Until finally, standing now fully transformed, would be true Destruction Demon Vegeta. Now with 2 scars running down his face, 5 symbols across his chest, 1 black wing, and a slathering of dark, demonic energy that covers his entire body, there would be one more key change, not visible from this distance. Broly! As finally, when we get a deeper look into Vegeta's deep, almost purple-pink eyes, there now appears to be their very own symbols, just like Seraphim Goku had in his. It seems finally, after all these years, Vegeta has managed to close the gap once again, just as he said he would, and through both the power of Hakai and Lucif. What? What did he just do? Isn't that destruction energy I'm sensing? Those symbols! As Broly, in deep shock and paralysis from what just Vegeta's all-new presence would feel like, would begin to recognize the combination of powers Vegeta had now tapped into. Broly! Calm down! Huh? But it would not be long before a familiar angel in the form of Miras would talk to Broly from within, showing to us all that when Broly came out of Vegito, it was indeed with all his fused powers intact. As Miras would explain, "Do not fear, my student. All that power is not just from the great demon. Vegeta is mixing in his destroyer training. You may have been defeated, but you are still the chosen god of destruction of Universe 7. Tap deep within and unleash your own Hakaishin powers, Broly! Do it!" And on command of his former master, Broly would immediately change his mannerism, gritting his teeth wildly like an Uzaru as his power begins to rise. And out of nowhere, showcasing his truly impressive potential and freak-like growth, Broly's eyes would suddenly go blank, but completely purple in color. As suddenly, on his chest too, 4 Hakaishin symbols, more recognizable to what Toppo had shown us before, then become completely visible on his bare chest too. And just like that, Broly would ascend himself to the legendary Angel of Destruction, combining his Hakaishin training with his angel powers to try his best to keep up with Vegeta's rapid progression. As standing tall with an emotionless look, he would let out, "It's been a while since I had to utilize much of Hakai. Not since the days Whis trained me. But I guess in the end, it's only through both of your trainings, Miras, that my full potential would be unleashed." To which a smiling proudly Miras from within would just say, "That is correct, Lord Broly. Brother Whis' training will live on through you. Show Vegeta the difference between a mere user of Hakai and a fully fledged destroyer." "Yes, Broly!" But surprisingly, overjoyed with the development would actually be Vegeta, who with wide eyes and a giant grin would proclaim, "That's the way, Broly. This isn't the limit for either of us. As long as Kakarot continues to grow stronger, so will I. Push me even further, because I'm far from done yet." And immediately, just like that in a split scene, both newly transformed, one-winged Saiyans would rush straight at their training partners, one utilizing the power of the angels, while the other taps further and further into the power of the demons, with a hint of the Destroyer's energy included too. But ultimately, both with exactly the same purpose, to surpass each other and make Ultra Vegito as strong as physically possible. Come! So you finally went even further beyond. This should be fun! As in response, both Broly and Vegito would then just prepare themselves, each getting into their signature fighting stance, just waiting to counter their respective Saiyans. And as the two battles begin, Seraphim Goku would launch his first punch, only to be dodged by a smirking Vegito who'd comment mid-air, "Nice one! I suppose that was a little bit faster, but how about your reflexes?" Testing Goku himself this time, in response, slashing a fist across the face of Goku that just misses his chin by the slimmest of margins. And so too, the same would then be seen when Goku retaliates with a kick, with the two, for the first time, now appearing to have completely caught up with each other. I can see all your movements now, Vegito! And I still have more to show you! As Goku, in his ascended form, would continue to ready his next attack. And so with a barrage of attacks, True Demon Vegito and Seraphim Goku would trade attacks non-stop. And though Vegito would be grimacing and being pushed back, the same expression would be reflected on Goku too. Enough hand-to-hand! How do you deal with something not so telegraphed? As Vegito would finally then bring out his Godslayer blade, previously used only to slaughter the Divine before launching it like a spear with killing intent straight at Goku. As Goku, once again, with even more speed, dodges straight out of its deadly path. And with a slight sigh, and keeping his arms up to defend himself, Goku would comment, "You went straight for my neck with that one, Vegito. You know I can't just regenerate like you, right? If I die for real out here, I have no idea what will happen to you." To which a Vegito, who still covers his face with his blade, would then ominously just reply, "Oh, I know. But the truth is, if you die to me, even after all the people and energy I've let out so far, then you never deserved to be part of my greatness anyway. So good luck. You're going to need it to survive, Son Goku." And while Goku and Vegito would have their battle, in the same vein, Vegeta and Broly would be having an equal spar of their own, but in a far more violent way, with the two powerhouses each landing a fist on each other's bodies. With each's second follow-up then resulting in a gigantic clash of fists that could be heard from miles away. But regardless, Vegeta would not lose any cool, still pleased that Broly can even somewhat keep up before... With a power-driven front kick, like kicking down a door, the Prince would launch his foot directly onto the chin of Broly, snapping his skull all the way back. Stay down! But Broly, being the giant tank and brute he is, would instantly just retaliate back, slamming a fist straight onto the cheek of Vegeta. But before the Demon Prince would even hit the ground, he would quickly vanish. What? Reappearing behind to chokehold the legendary Saiyan, with Vegeta's final dastardly words being, "That progress of yours is monstrous, Broly, but I'm afraid nothing you will ever do will bring you closer to a Saiyan elite like me. Hold still while I take you for a little trip." And so just like that, years would pass once more, as all four of the legendary warriors continue their battles in search of even greater power, each increasing exponentially, surviving on pure Saiyan battle lust alone, all the while ultimately benefiting the God Killer for one final almighty combination of power. But as time would be flying in the chamber, eventually, so too would it be outside, as we would eventually be treated to an image of an impatient Jiren and Hit waiting, both with red seraphim eyes, seemingly both having now been beaten and taken over by the blood demon Makoto, with an unenthused Jiren saying, "I think we've waited long enough for the God Killer. We were generous giving him time to get stronger, but if he's just going to hide in there forever, then it may be time to give him a rude awakening." To which the possessed Hit would just robotically add, "I agree. Let's get this rat out the old-fashioned way." As the two would then begin walking slowly towards the entrance of the Pyramid of Power before shockingly raising both their arms up as two dark balls of concentrated energies then form, both aimed directly at the pyramid, ready to do only one thing. That is, until a loud creak is heard, and the door of the pyramid, finally after all this time, begins to open. And out of the shadows, a dark smirking silhouette would appear. Could it be Vegito? Or could it be someone entirely else? Either way, it seems the God Killer's training has finally ended. But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag GodKiller in the comments down below, and let me know just what kind of multiversal monster is about to walk through those doors after 20 years of straight training. Or just find out what happens right now on my Patreon, where you can see the full next video, fully voice acted, soundtracked, and edited for you to enjoy with over 4,500 plus other fans, as well as getting access to 250 plus other fan mangas too. It's the deal of the century.